Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This podcast I started 3 years ago to chronicle me starting stand up. This podcast is a weekly podcast. It comes out once a week, and this is just a small little introduction video into the podcast. So, down below in the description of each episode, you can go to my Linktree and find links to everything connected to me. This podcast is available on YouTube, which you're watching it on right now, and also on Spotify. But yeah, that is just a small introduction into this podcast and everything that goes along with it. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed 4 minutes of laughter in the last episode, because like I said, I'm not going to edit that. So fun. But yeah, so what, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, next couple of weeks episodes will be me reviewing comedy specials, talking about a show I went to and a TV show that I watched. So the comedy special that I'll be talking about is not comedy special. The show that I went to was a comedian that I've been watching for a very, very long time. Since the days of Ali Makovsky's podcast, Rest in Bitchface or something. I think it was called. I can't really remember. She doesn't do it anymore, unfortunately. Because I watched all the episodes. It was quite fun. From her, listen to her podcast, and what was I going to say? Yeah, I found the band Gate Creeper, who are a heavy metal band from Arizona. They did come to Ireland once, but at the time it was the same day as my good friend Kieran, who was in the band Plastic Cowboys, so I went to support him instead. But yeah, Gate Creeper will have to unfortunately wait another time. But yeah, so the comedians it was his first time coming to Europe as well. I really enjoy the fact that more and more comedians are coming to Europe, because I can't. Well, I could go to the US, but it's expensive. It would take a lot of planning, preparation, and some money to go, but hopefully one day. But yeah, so Graig Conant is the comedian's name. And how I found out about Graig was from a story that went viral. It was also in the newspaper. He was high on cocaine. I thought for some reason when I heard the story that it was acid, but he was high on cocaine and Jack Daniels, and he was throwing firecrackers. It was the 4th of July, and he happened to throw one at a policeman. Now, he was so high on cocaine, so drunk, he did not realize that the policeman was on a horse. It was a mounted policeman. Mountie, as they call them in Canada. But yeah, so he ended up going to jail for that. And that is kind of the story that went viral, and it also was printed in the newspaper. And it was around this time Graig turned his life around. He got sober. He started doing stand up, and things have turned out great. And he was in Dublin performing at the Academy. Now, this is actually the first time for me to see comedy at the Academy. Academy is a great venue. I've seen a lot of bands there. Actually, one of my first metal gigs was to see Cradle of Filth there. And in particular, this would have been, trying to think now, maybe, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. It's quite a long time. Geez, nearly 10 years. God damn it, I'm old. But yeah, so the tour was called Oopsie Daisy Tour, which is a funny name as well. Rich, every time, and I'm not an Irish comedian, but I like big touring, big comic from the US comes over. I always wonder who will get to open up for him. It's usually one of the local Irish comedians, and this time it was Richie Breen. Now, when I first started doing stand up, the very first week I did stand up, as you know, I did Battle of the Axe, which was on Thursday. I was off work that week, but then I went to see a show at the Laughter Lounge, and Richie Bree was one of the comedians who was performing. So And over the years, I've met Richie a couple of times. We've become friends, and it was great to see him open up for Craig. Richie is very, very funny. His his material is great, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was the audience didn't warm to him instantly. It took a little bit of a while. It was kind of a bit of a cold open, but eventually, after maybe about 5 or 7 minutes in, they were very, very warmed up for Craig. Craig did fantastic. It was really a funny show. Disruption was there, unfortunately. There was like four people in the corner who wouldn't shut the fuck up. So Craig kind of they kept interrupting. It was basically halfway through the show, and Craig was like, "Are you gonna continue talking?" Because he would say something like he'd do like a little bit of crowd work, and they would just like continue yapping. It's like, okay, crowd work works. You ask your question, you answer it, and then he moves on. You don't continue fucking yapping. Stupid fucking people. But so yeah, so it was that thing happening, and then he was like, "Look, can we get security here?" I was like, because he was gonna kick these people out, and it was, and then because the energy in the room kind of switched, and he was like, "Oops, sorry about that. That was weird." I was like, "Let's do a funny thing," and the show, yeah, the show itself was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. Very, very fun, and towards the end of the show, Craig was like, "I'm gonna be downstairs selling posters, like €10 each or whatever, and meet and greet." So I was like, "Oh, cool." And he was like, "Cash only." But I remember I had cash on me. I was like, "Ding ding ding, fantastic." So I ran downstairs, and I go up to him. I was like, "Oh, like I'm a comic as well. I've been doing comedy for like nearly 6 years." This was kind of, as I mentioned before, there's strange things have been happening to me in comedy. I don't, like, I'm doing a bit of investigating. I don't know how to really resolve it yet because I haven't finished my investigation. But like I said, this is part of a bulk record. Hopefully, when this comes all finishes, it'll be all good. But yeah, it's a bit of a kind of, I don't know, a low point for me at the moment in comedy. So, and then Craig was like, "Oh, cool, you're a comic," and he looked like he was selling the posters, which he just instantly pulled up two and handed them to me. As you can see there's Craig on a surfboard, and it's really cool posters. He just handed me two of them, and I pulled out money to give to him, and he was like, "No, no, no, man, you're a comic, like." Because I mentioned, I was like, "Oh, like I used to know you from Ali's podcast," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that podcast." But to me, he was like, he didn't want he said to me, he's like, "I'm not going to take your money because he's recently had a kid." So I was like, "No, you've had a kid, you're coming to Europe." That was one of the first things he said. I was, "Thanks for coming to Europe," because like I said, a lot of comedians, like, it's expensive for comics from the US to come to Europe, and it's a big gamble. They usually lose a lot of money. So, and he was like, "Look," the reason, he was like, "Look, I don't want to take money for the posters. Like, you're a fellow comic." He goes, "I started at open mics, not performing in Dublin, and he completely changed his life around for the better, and he's become, he's a very, very successful comedian." Craig lives in LA, so he's a regular at the Store, the Hollywood Improv, and all those good clubs over there, and it's especially going through kind of the low point I have in comedy. That was, he not only gave me, those two posters, but he also gave me the greatest gift a fellow comedian could ever give someone, which is, inspiration. And especially in particular since the start of the year, I've tried to take a different approach to comedy, and to try and maximize on performance and stuff. So I don't know if I mentioned before. I usually try to do like 1 gig a week, and sometimes those doesn't always work out. So it's like, how about I try and aim for like a new goal of like 4 per month, rather than try and constrict myself, because it's not always possible that I get to even go out, get to, like, I work. I don't live in Dublin. I live like an hour and a half away, and it's not always possible. It is. It's become last. I don't know. Kind of started, but I don't know when it started. But it's become difficult to do stand up for me. Try and get gigs and stuff. I don't know why. I genuinely don't, because I'm like, I usually write 5 minutes of material every single week. It seems to be the more I'm doing, the less I'm getting, which doesn't make sense. I don't know why. So that small interaction with Craig was really good. Definitely gave me a lot of inspiration and hope, because I got, like, I was working in the morning next day, and as I was sitting on the night bus home, I was like, you like, because Craig, I think, has been doing comedy for 14 years. Like I said, he's passed at the Comedy Store in LA and stuff like that. And, he's just like, those just couple of words, like, I started open mics, now I'm here in Dublin. It's, I don't know. Last episode was a lot of laughter. Won't be laughter in this one because I'm sad now. On a small point, we are talking about like unique laughs. There is a couple of us in the comedy scene that have very, very unique laughs, and I am one of those people. And I recently met another fellow who has a very, very unique laugh, which is great. So there's now 4 of us, which is very, very fun. But yeah, no, it was like, I've been going, I don't know. Things have been strange. I'm trying to push through it, but it's better not be raining because I've clothes on the line. But yeah, it's hard to push through sometimes when there's so much fucking negative shit around. And to be honest, like, those small little words from Craig really, really helped. And hopefully things will get improved in the next while, and will sort themselves out, because if not, I don't really know what to do. Because it is like, I'm trying to go for gold here and it's not really happening, so I don't know. But yeah, overall, his hour was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. It was also great to see Richie open up for him. Very, very fun. Oh god. A runny nose, my ears are fucked. I don't know what the hell is going on. This is. At least I didn't lose my voice. That was the other thing. When my ears started fucking annoying me, I thought I was gonna lose my voice, which would suck for stand up, because how am I supposed to stand up when I sound like RFK? Hello, my name is Alex. Should I just start doing impressions of people? I do impressions a lot. Not a lot, but I do have jokes with impressions. Uh, I find them fun. If the people who I'm doing impressions of heard them, they probably wouldn't find it fun. But that's the fun of it, I suppose, or not. I don't know. But yeah. So it's like Andrew Schultz showed emotion on his special. Now I'm showing it on this podcast. Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird. But I actually wanna. This poster is really, really cool. In fact, I got 2. Like, it was very nice. I do want to get these framed some stage. That'd be cool. Trying to think now. What was I gonna say? But yeah, next episode is a fun one. Please tune in next week and check it out. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. It it was a great show. Really happy to have got tickets to go see Graig. Like I said, some of them have been following for a couple of years. I'm very, very happy for his success. And glad about the interaction. I got a picture taken with him as well. And in the, what was I going to say? I'll put it in the thumbnail for this episode. So, very, very fun. Really enjoy myself. Any other thing I'm trying to think of in my head, but I can't really. The bulk record episodes, there's 2 more, and then there'll be new fresh content, and which will be kind of mainly centered around me doing a couple of gigs. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. As per usual, all the links down below to all the good stuff. People that support me also, and all the wonderful things. Links down below because I'm nice and very helpful. But yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.